Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about dichotic listening and the shadowing task. We will explain what selective attention is, how these tasks are used to study it, and what 2 research studies found out about how people pay attention. Now, I would like to introduce our topic, which is selective attention. Selective attention is our ability to focus on one thing while ignoring distractions around us. We use it every day, like listening to a friend in a noisy room or paying attention during class. Researchers study this using the shadow task, where people hear 2 different messages and repeat the one they are told to focus on. This helps us understand how the brain decides what information is most important. Selective attention and how it works. Okay, selective attention is the brain's way of being able to focus on one conversation at a time while ignoring any other distractions that are around. A great example is the cocktail party effect, where you can zone in and be fully present on one conversation that's right in front of you and not worry about anything else. Okay, so if you're at a coffee shop, you're trying to have a conversation with your friend, there's lots of different noises going around, but you are still able to be fully engaged in your conversation. So, Harvey and Beeman talk about this a lot and how it depends on if you can control where your attention goes. The research shows that alcohol makes it difficult to ignore distractions. This relates to dichotic listening because individuals need to be focusing on a single conversation while others are taking place at the same time. Dichotic listening and how it's researched. How it's researched is by measuring selective attention. This is measured by listening to 2 different messages at the exact same time. Participants are asked to focus on one message while tuning out the other. Wang, Yang, and Quinn use this technique to identify attentional control between young and old adults. This study helps researchers figure out if and how age is a factor on being able to focus or not. This experiment explored how alcohol influences our ability to focus attention during auditory tasks. Participants were asked to repeat or shadow a spoken message while ignoring other speech. After consuming either alcohol or a placebo drink, the researchers found that alcohol impaired accuracy in repeating the attended message and reducing sensitivity to personal relevant cues, like hearing one's own name in the background. These results suggest that intoxication weakens the brain filtering mechanisms, making it harder to separate important information from distractions. This diagram compares 2 studies that both explore selective attention but from different angles. Harvey and Beeman focus on a temporary factor, like alcohol intoxication, and how it influences our ability to filter competing sounds. Wang and his colleagues, on the other hand, examine a developmental factor, age, and how attentional control changes across the lifespan. Despite these differences, both studies used dichotic listening tasks to measure how well participants could ignore distractions and focus on one message. Together, they show that selective attention can be affected by both short-term biological states and long-term cognitive development, giving researchers a broader understanding of how attention operates under varying conditions. To wrap up, selective attention is what allows us to stay focused in a world full of competing sounds and distractions. The studies we looked at show that this ability can be influenced by both temporary states like alcohol intoxication and long-term factors like age. Even though these influences change how effectively we filter information, the underlying mechanism remains remarkably adaptable. Our brain constantly balance focus and flexibility, deciding what deserves attention and what we can ignore. Understanding this process helps explain everyday experiences, from tuning out background chatter to staying alert in complex environments. In short, selective attention is a key part of how we manage information and maintain cognitive control. Here are the sources we used for this presentation. We included them to give credit to the original authors and to show where our information came from. Before we finish, we want to mention academic integrity. All the information in this presentation was paraphrased from the textbook and approved scholarly articles. We made sure to give credit to the original authors and avoided copying their words directly.